I've never done anything in my life.
Police officers in Texas draw their guns on who they think is a wanted criminal until they realize they made a big mistake.
Yeah, police officers in Frisco stopped a car with Arkansas plates last month. When an officer ran the plate, she entered it as Arizona in the computer, which led to an incorrect registration and police thinking that the car could be stolen.
Officers had their guns pointed at the car, which had a husband and wife and 2 kids inside. The police eventually realized they were wrong and apologized at the scene, but it was too late for the family, who were just on their way to a basketball tournament.
Everyone put their hands outside the window. Do it now. Driver, whatever is in your hand, put it on the roof. That's fine. And pick up the car from the outside.
It looks like I made a mistake. So I ran it AZ for Arizona instead of AR. And that's what happened.
And do you know something go away?
So I made a mistake.
We're going to clear these units out of here.
But just listen up. It could have went all wrong for us, though.
What do you mean by that?
Very scary moments for that family. Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes joins us now in the studio.
All right, so Khalif, the first and biggest question here, is there a ground for a lawsuit here?
Wow, I mean, that's a lot to watch, obviously.
Yeah.
There were kids involved. There was a lot going on, and I don't know if you heard at the end, the dad said it could have been a lot worse. And the officer kind of said, well, what did you mean by that? I'm not sure if she's been watching the last few years of incidents that have happened. But there's a number of standards when you're talking about criminal liability or civil liability. So this is obviously civil, and you're saying the highest is something for preponderance of the evidence. And then reasonable suspicion is where we're at. We're not even talking about probable cause, like do I have an ability to charge someone? Is it more likely that you've done it or not? We're at basically the lowest threshold of the legal standard. It's not a hunch. It's basically based on the officer's information and everything that they have, the totality of the circumstances. Do I believe that a crime has been committed? And in this situation, her receiving information back, that officer, that the tag didn't even exist. It wasn't that she got information back that said, okay, this car is stolen. She got information back that that tag does not exist because she put the wrong state in there with the wrong state in the front and the rest of it in the back. And doing that, based on her history of believing that Dodge Chargers are stolen a lot, I believe this car is stolen, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them over. Now, in terms of liability, the issue is, were you required to draw your guns? One of the individuals had their gun out. He told the family at some point, if you move, we'll shoot. Don't you move at all. And I think they got heightened after they pulled him over because the family said, hey, we have a concealed carry. Our firearm is a lawfully concealed carry and it's in the vehicle. And so that, I think, escalated it. In terms of do I think they have a claim? Yes. Do I believe that this claim will be something that's cut and dry? No. But most of the time when you sue a institution like a law enforcement agency, typically a city or county, most of the time those claims are filed or settled. And so I think this one clearly would go to court and it would be settled in the long run. This doesn't make it to trial, but liability is clearly established.
Certainly, but as you go back to that reasonable suspicion and they draw those guns like that, that is very, very scary. And they've got a lot of people watching. It causing a lot of trauma that they have some sort of case, you would think, here for the kids.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, what you're doing with these types of cases is you're looking at the Constitution. So this constitutionality, I'm starting at this, do they have a right to stop us? First, did they have a right to detain me? Our Fourth Amendment protects us from unlawful search and seizure. So that's where we're going to start. And I'm not sure if they had a lawful right to stop them based on their mistake. And so that would probably be the first situation. The next situation is, did I meet the moment with the right level of force? And I'm not sure if that was met either. Even though they initially told them we have a firearm, the gun was already drawn out and they already kind of did not attempt to de-escalate the situation. And so if I'm looking at these types of claims, I'm looking at what your manual says, what your policies and procedure is for these types of stops. There's children involved. They put the kid, 15-year-old kid, in handcuffs, put him in the back of the car. And so that's traumatic. If I'm bringing this forward and I represent the family, I'm letting them know that I have a number of issues with the children that were involved in this, and that's probably the first basis of my claim and how we'll escalate the amount that we'd be asking the city to cover.
Yeah, and this just happened recently, so of course we'll find out, even though the officers apologize, what will be happening with their punishment, if anything at all. Our Chief Legal Analyst, Khalif Rhodes, thanks for breaking that down for us.
For sure.